Hey, you guys, this is Nessyp of Nessyp Entertainment. We are here with Mr. Kwai Daniels. And Mr. Kwai Daniels has a movie that he's going to tell us all about in a few minutes. But first, Kwai, how are you today?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm blessed, totally blessed.
Good,
So
good.
tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Um, I am a filmmaker out of Youngstown, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
I started out as a writer and I eventually gravitated towards video productions. So I did a lot of commercial work the first 7, 8 years of my career, working on with businesses and
Mm-hmm.
events, clubs, just mainly marketing.
Okay.
And like I said, I started out as a writer. So I always wanted to see my material turned into movies and, series and stuff of that nature. So
Mm-hmm.
once I felt like I honed my craft enough, through the marketing commercials and stuff like that, then I started working on small projects. We did a superhero style movie called The Refractor, um, which went over really well locally.
Mm-hmm.
All of our movies do really well locally. We've got a good fan base. Like I said, started out doing commercials, and I used to do a television show called Let's Go Youngstown. So I'm really plugged in with a lot of the people in the city because
Okay.
I've worked with them or worked for them at one time or another. So us doing that show, Let's Go Youngstown, that lasted, I think, 2 seasons before we started moving on to movies and stuff. And once we started moving on to movies, a lot of our fan base and a lot of our supporters from those previous things,
Mm-hmm.
they just came straight on over to support us, in the filmmaking area.
That's awesome. So what was Let's Go Youngstown? What was that about?
What I basically did was there's a lot of really talented bands in the city, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of musicians, a lot of artists, and they had no platform. They had no way for people to see what they were actually doing or what they were actually capable of.
Okay.
So I started attending a lot of their events, when they perform in nightclubs or when they perform, at festivals or when they perform for the city. The city does a thing called Federal Frenzy where they put on a concert every year and invite a bunch of the bands. So I started getting them the video footage that they needed to share their content. And then in the process, I was already working with a lot of the businesses in the city doing commercials and stuff, and they needed eyes and ears. So I meshed them together, created a show called Let's Go Youngstown, where I would feature a band that's performing somewhere. We do interviews with the band. And in the process of that, it would be sponsored by the business, and the business would get a commercial out of it. We basically made it to where it was kind of like we spent 15 minutes with the band or the
Mhm.
artist, and we spent the other 15 minutes with the business telling us about. So it made it to where they both got to get eyes and ears on their products,
Okay.
so to speak.
That sounds like fun. Did you to have all of those different, I mean, you have the support of the businesses as well, but with the bands to get them exposure like that, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, we've went all over doing it. We do something down in Cleveland as well. Our friend Packy Malley, he does a reggae festival every year. He's been doing it for 15 plus years. So he brings some of the most recognized reggae artists in the business right to Cleveland, Ohio, and we get an invite every year and we film that. And that's like a 3 day event. So it's a lot of stuff that we do as far as like with the music in the
Okay.
beginning.
Okay. Wow. So you said you're a writer. So doing the commercials, is that what kind of gave you the inspiration of doing the scripts for your movies? Or how did you come up with the ideas for the scripts for your movies?
Um, I actually started writing a long time ago. I used to be a young author in high school.
Okay.
So I've always written stories and stuff like that. That's, just my way of, expression. Um, with the commercials, we're just, well, in this part of my career, we're just now to the part to where the businesses trust my judgment as far as writing the commercials and stuff like that. It used to be a lot of, you know, a lot of businesses they don't do a lot of marketing, so they only think product, service, location. They don't think that, commercials like "Where's the beef?" That's what sticks to you. 1-800 Safe Auto, because it's got a jingle that sticks to you. It's
Okay.
certain marketing tools that you use that allow you to make an impression on the viewers subconscious and get them to want to shop with you, so it goes a little bit further than product, service, location. And I think it got to the point to where, I was a little bit frustrated with a lot of the businesses because I was coming up with really great concepts for their business that would have been, memorable commercials, because the thing is
Okay.
with a commercial, nine times out of 10, when you see it, the first 5 seconds of it, you either tune in or tune out with it because we got short attention spans. And if it's not something that's going to catch your attention,
Hmm.
and if it's just something that someone's trying to sell you, 9 times out of 10, we tune out on it,
Okay.
because we're not in the market for that right now, you
Yeah.
know. But if it's something that's catchy, something you can relate to, and it's shareable, because that was something that I started working on with later in my career. I used to do a lot of commercials for the networks, for the news, for the TV networks and stuff like that.
Okay.
And you don't really have the option of giving the the the, the customer a one-on-one relationship with the buyer and the customer being in the same realm. So once I started doing social media commercials, it was easier for for my clients to see results.
Okay. So with the social media commercial, how do you go about doing that? I mean, and like you just said a little while ago, our attention spans are so short. So how do you come up with the social media commercial?
And it just depends on the business and what it is that they're selling, and
Hmm.
how we can make it relatable to the person that's actually wanting to buy it.
Okay.
So a lot of times, you have to make something that is totally off the wall for it to be memorable. Like if you watch the what is it? The Mayhem commercials,
Okay.
the Allstate Mayhem commercials, where this guy
Yes.
thing,
Yes.
all sorts of things are going on and going around him, and then he hits you with the catch. This is why you need insurance. So he reels you in the beginning with a water heater blowing up out of your house.
Right. Or him falling through a garage door or something.
Right. And then you're reeled in because you're reeled in on the entertainment purposes. It's not getting reeled in because I want you to buy something. Like, subconsciously, money is really hard to come by. So a lot of times when someone's trying to sell you something, you tune it out immediately.
Okay.
You go to the mall, you go anywhere, and someone's trying to sell you something. It's like, I came here to buy a pair of shoes, and I just want to get a pair of shoes and leave.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah. We're gonna have to talk after this. What inspires you, Kwai?
Um, it used to be just creating really quality content and testing myself to the limit.
Hmm.
What inspires me now is I've had the opportunity of working with a lot of my actors for 8 or 9 years now. I've watched them grow. I've been basically their teacher, getting them to be the best that they can be. And in turn, it makes me be the best that I can be, because once you reach a certain level of acting, then I can start doing other things with my camera to tell a story differently.
Okay.
And so it's a grow relationship between the two of us. So what inspires me now is, when we release these movies in the theater and we got 600 or 700 people from our city that goes out and watches these movies, and we set social media on fire for the next 2 3 weeks, and then we go on the streaming services and the conversation keeps going. That's what inspires me, because now I go out Well, I've always been known by a lot of people in the city because of what it is that I do.
Hmm.
Go out and people suggest to me a direction that the story should take or this, that, or the other. You know what I mean? So it's like it always tickles me to be like, okay, people are actually paying attention to, the stuff that I do. And then
Right.
to watch actors say the words that I write down verbatim, that really that really makes me feel good because it's like, okay, this all started off as an ideal, a concept, and then we put these words together and we put these locations together and we pick these actors to do it, and then now we have something that's tangible. You can actually see it and be like,
Okay.
oh, man, that's a scene, you know.
Wow. So with your actors, and you say you've been working with them, do you normally use the same actors in your different movies?
Yes, I'm a student of Spike Lee. So if you watch a lot of Spike Lee's movies, he would add an actor in there. He would add a Wesley or a Denzel or Rosie Perez. He would add those in there. But for the most part, Spike Lee worked with all the same actors,
Okay.
and he would give them so many different roles, just like I do my actors, because I said I'm a student of Spike Lee. I don't want my actor to play the same role in the next movie I make. I want to test their range. So therefore, when someone else looks forward to getting one of my actors to work with them,
Hmm.
they can say, "Hey, this guy's got range. He just doesn't play a this character or that character. He's not stereotyped, you know."
Okay.
So the best thing for me to do is to, like I said, is to test my actors. I know what a lot of them are capable of, and I know what some of them are not capable of. The ones that are not capable of doing certain things, I don't write them to do certain things. If you're not a funny guy, I don't write you to do funny stuff. If you're not a dramatic person, I don't write you to do dramatic stuff. You know what I mean? If
Okay.
you're like, I got guys that are super shy and I write them into roles as being shy and they look like they know exactly what they're doing. They look like A1 actors because they're being themselves. And that's what I try to do with all of my actors is I try to let you be yourself, let you use your own voice. I don't want you to try to go out too far outside of what your own personality is.
Okay. Wow. So what would you say was your biggest how many movies have you done? I think you've done three, is it?
I've done two movies.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a bunch of shorts,
Okay.
and this one right here that I'm working on is a series. It's a 10-part series.
Oh,
It's it started out as a movie, but I really like character development, and a lot of my characters, a lot of my guys, they gave me a lot of time last
okay.
year. So I had the time to develop their characters to really get you to the point to where it's like, it affects you when something happens to the character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like a lot of times in a 90-minute movie, you can't really develop a character way you need to. You can't put the ins and out on that person and have it to where you're emotionally invested in that person to where if I was to do something to that person, it affects you.
Okay.
You don't have that much investment in a 90-minute movie. But if you've got a series which each episode is an hour and hour 10 minutes and
Mm-hmm.
you got 10 of them, you got 13 hours invested into this series. Now you're really invested in these characters and it affects you when something happens.
That's almost like watching a movie and it has a really strange ending and you sit back and you go, I wonder what happened to that particular character.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You want to know more about a character. You want to know about their relationships. You want to know about their ups and downs. You want to know, are they in love or they're out of love? Are their finances right? You want to know things that make them human.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I don't know if you ever watched The Walking Dead. Have you ever watched that?
Yeah. I like that show.
So you remember when Glenn died? It crashed the internet
Oh my
because
goodness.
people were so invested in Glenn for what, like 7, 8 seasons? Like
Yeah.
he was known for getting away. He was good little guy, witty little guy. And the way that he died, it's like I knew people that actually was having problems that he died. It was affecting them. you
Oh
know?
my goodness.
And that's
Well,
the
it
whole point.
did bother me, and especially the way that he died. I'm like, seriously, are you know, how did you write? Because he was, you're right, he was a popular character in that
Yeah.
series. Yeah.
And if you go back to the basis of what a movie is a what? A motion picture, an emotion picture. It's an
Oh,
emotional
an
picture.
emotion. I never thought
It
of
should
it that
evoke
way.
emotion.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it should evoke emotion, whether it's happy, sad, mad, glad. It should evoke some kind of response out of you if you're watching it, you know?
Oh my goodness. Well, Kwai, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to be back because I have some other questions for you. Oh my God, I never thought about emotion. We'll
Yeah.
be right back, you guys.